Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Sports Out.
It's a beautiful night for baseball on the banks of the Ohio River, and tonight it's Game 2 from the Great American Ballpark, a chance for the Braves to win this series outright as they face the Cincinnati Reds. Last night, late-night heroics. The goose got loose for the Atlanta Braves. Phil Gosselin with a base hit against Aroldis Chapman, went to second on another hit, stole third base, and then came home on this wild pitch with the game-winning run, and the Braves knocked off the Reds by a final score of 2-1. Great pitching from Shelby Miller last night, and Joe Simpson, let's hope we see the same from Mike Foltynewicz, who makes his third start for the Braves this evening.
But once again, Shelby Miller's made it tough for her, a tough act to follow for Mike Foltynewicz. But Mike's got great stuff. If there's one thing, as we've watched him for his first two starts, and he's gone 5 and 5+ innings, is that he's having to work really hard to get through those 5 innings. He's gone 2-0 in those games, but tonight you'd like to see him maybe have some quicker innings and maybe a little more economical in his pitch selection too, so that he can get through this game, maybe go a little deeper than he has in his first two. But he's looked great.
And so has Anthony DeSclafani, the youngster pitching for the Cincinnati Reds. They like him a lot, but he too's had some trouble of late.
Well, he ran into some trouble in Atlanta with Kelly Johnson, and then Mike Foltynewicz himself was a guy who was a big culprit, driving in a couple of runs. But his last 3 starts have been awful, and the fact that he's walked a bunch of guys has been a bigger problem than the hits he's given up. He's given up 11 walks in his last 15 innings pitched. He's going to have to do better than that tonight to beat the Braves.
It is a perfect night for baseball. Not a cloud in the sky, no chance for rain as the Braves try to beat the Reds for a second straight game. The Braves bench had a hand in last night's victory. They've done it all year, and we'll talk about that when we come back to Cincinnati right after this timeout.
by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Well, welcome back to Great American Ballpark. It's game 2 between the Reds and the Braves. After a big win for the Braves last night, they really got them back on track thanks to some heads-up base running by Phil Gosselin, who came in the 9th in a pitch-hitch situation and helped his team get the win. But across the board, the Braves bench has really stepped up when called upon. A lot of the credit can be given to Johnny Gomes being in the dugout during games, a guy who has had success in the pinch-hit situation before and is more than happy to share any thoughts or help he can with his teammates. I talked to him today about it.
There's a lot of ways to prepare. I've had some success doing it in the past, so I can do what I can to help them with the approach, the situation at hand, how to get loose, how not to get loose too much, how to not get in your head too much, what to fix, what not to fix at times. Phil's doing a good job. I think as a team right now, we're doing a pretty good job pinch hitting.
Johnny's helped me a little bit with that, just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't for coming off the bench. So once you figure out your routine, you just got to stick with it and trust that the results will come.
And both Johnny Gomes and Phil Gosselin are two guys who are always in the game when they're in the dugout. Freddie Gonzalez told me earlier today that they're always in his back pocket. He said every time he turns around, they're physically there saying, I'm ready to go in whenever you need me. So Phil Gosselin came up big last night for the Braves. We'll see who does it tonight. On the other side of the break, we'll have lineups and first pitch coming your way from Cincinnati.
Pitching matchup, wouldn't you think?
Yes, it would.
The Braves and Reds meeting in Game 2 here at the Great American Ballpark. Beautiful night for baseball, and it's a broadcaster's tongue twister kind of night. Mike Foltynewicz for the Braves. Anthony DeSclafani is pitching for Cincinnati, and here's the Braves starting 9 presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. One notable change: Eric Young Jr. finally gets a chance to start a game with a good play of Cameron Maybin. And with the lefty-righty splits for the Red starter, Freddie Gonzalez is going to play Eric Young in center, bat him 8th, and see if he can be a secondary leadoff man for an Atlanta offense that's done a real good job the last couple of weeks.
DeSclafani, 24 years old, 6'1", 190, out of Colts Neck, New Jersey. Well, I guess that's better than horses. Well, never mind. DeSclafani's last 3 starts, 15 innings 11 walks and 11 strikeouts. He's 0-3 and a 4.80 ERA. I hope we still have a producer in the truck. Didn't pass out. But DeSclafani, right-handers against him so far on the year, 9 for 69. That's a 130 average. It's all about those walks. He's putting too many guys on base and not making good enough pitches. And the 9 walks allowed in his last 9 innings pitch kind of don't bode well for him, especially against the Braves and the Pirates, who took advantage of that.
Yeah, 5 walks against the Braves on May the 1st. So if you walk people, you can't use your defense. The Reds have a pretty good one. Their defensive lineup presented by CPI Security. Bird, Hamilton, and Bruce in the outfield. Votto, Phillips, Negron again at shortstop. Todd Frazier at third. And old pal Brian Pena is in harness behind the plate for Cincinnati.
I'll tell you what, with Bird and Pena, you're happy to have them playing tonight with all these names.
Yeah. Well, we're trained broadcast professionals, as you know. We'll get along as best as we can. Here's Nick Markakis. Nick at 300. No homers and 8 driven in. Couple of hits last night. Ho-hum, no problem with Aroldis Chapman last night. First time he ever saw the Reds closer, and he whacked a 9th inning single. And quick strike. 69 degrees at first pitch officially.
Beautiful.
And DeSclafani missed low and outside. Sam Holbrook has the plate tonight. DeSclafani 2-3 on the year. Pitch. Missed to Nick.
Got a good fastball. Low 90s, sometimes upwards 93, 94. Slider and a changeup.
And Markakis the other way, a leadoff single. That gives him an 8-game hitting streak. And a good start for the Braves. You know, you watch Nick Markakis play, the word that comes to mind is steady. I was just thinking, I can't remember an at-bat this year where he's even swung at the first pitch. Can you?
No, I don't. And there's been very few pitches thrown to him where he looked bad on them, too.
So a 4-pitch sequence has him aboard to start the game, and that'll bring up Andrelton Simmons. Andrelton making his 65th at bat this year, batting second for the Braves. He's hit 3 homers, knocked in 5 in the 2 spot. 469 slugging percentage. There's those homers, 3 doubles and a triple. And he shoots this ball toward right. That'll chase Bruce back a step or 2, and he's got it. And there's out number 1. Here's Freddie Freeman, the Braves' first baseman, sizzling hot. 8-game hitting streak. 6 multi-hit games in those 8.
And up to 333. And yes, we have seen him swing at the first pitch.
Yes.
It would be easier to count the times he hasn't.
And he promptly did. Now to play foul, strike 1 for the Braves' first baseman, Freddie Freeman.
DeSclafani's line in Atlanta, he got beat 4-3. 5 innings, 4 hits, and 4 runs. The 5 walks that game were a season high. Struck out 5, gave up a homer to Kelly Johnson. His ERA, sorry Chip, his ERA the last 3 games has gone from a leading 0.86 to 2.50.
2 balls, 1 strike. And low and outside.
And that was supposed to be in. That was supposed to be a fastball in. That's what Brian Pena called for, and wasn't even close location wise. We'll see if this continues.
Ball 4. So DeSclafani's up to his old tricks with the bases on balls. And he's got runners first and second with one out. And Kelly Johnson, who, as Joe mentioned, homered against this man, is in the box.
The Braves have been a good first inning team, and they've been a good first inning team ever since Markakis moved in the leadoff spot, and followed shortly thereafter by Andrelton going to the number 2 and Freddie moving from cleanup to number 3. 3 hottest hitters moved to the top of the order by the manager, and it's really worked, especially in the first inning. They seem to get a lot of first inning threats, if not runs.
Usually bodes well. When the Braves score first, they usually win. A strike for Kelly Johnson. In fact, the Braves are 10-5, 5 games over 500 when they played the game's first run. High fly toward left. Bird on the run, slowing at the line. He's got it. 2 out. So 2 are on, 2 are out for Alberto Callaspo, the Braves' third baseman. Hitless last night. Negron robbed him in the 8th inning. But he made a couple of real good defensive plays to help preserve a 2-1 Atlanta win. Right on top of the plate is Callaspo. And a called strike.
Just watching him take batting practice from both sides of the plate. Left-handed, he just takes his time and kind of pings the ball all over the ballpark. Soft line drives. He gets over on the right-handed side and he starts driving the ball. Hits some balls in the seats in the left field side of Great American Ballpark.
Swing and miss. Braves, as you know, have been an excellent hitting club with runners in scoring position. And with 2 outs and runners at second and third base, they've hit .286 this year. We're in game 33. That's remarkable work. The dirt. Nice stop by Pena. To put it in perspective, the Braves enter play tonight having scored 139 runs. That's only 3 runs less than the St. Louis Cardinals, who have the best record in the game. They've scored 8 more runs than the Cubs, 16 more than the Mets, 11 more than Cincinnati, and they've scored the same number of runs as the Marlins, who we'll see next. One-two pitch. And poked out a play foul.
As we have chronicled a couple of times on this road trip, really highlighting the fact that the Braves offense has been doing the job and doing a great job. It's not how many runs they're scoring, it's how many they're giving up.
Right. Braves bullpen ERA approaching 5. Braves starters ERA over 4. That is not what we expected. Pitch. Just tying away. It's 2-2. Shelby Miller lowered his ERA to 1.60, second best in the league. High fly to left. That'll chase Bird back a step or 2. And he's going to make the catch, and that'll retire the side. No runs a hit. 2 men left. Foltynewicz to the hill, looking for his 3rd straight win as a Brave.
your Atlanta area Mazda dealers.
Braves stranded a pair in the top of the first. Here come the Reds. They're 15-17. And their lineup, as presented by manager Brian Price: Hamilton, Bird, and Votto, the top three. Frazier, Phillips, and Bruce. Negron, Pena, and DeSclafani against Mike Foltynewicz, who's 2-0 as a Brave.
23 years old, 6'4", 200 pounds, out of Minooka, Illinois. There's his line when he beat the Reds on his first big league start. 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, but it took him 94 pitches to get through those 5 innings. And that leads us to our 4 keys for pitching success that we'll get to after this pitch.
And it's to Billy Hamilton, the speedster. It's off the plate.
After he faces Hamilton, we'll give you those keys, so stand by.
Billy at 198. And there's a bunt. And Callaspo couldn't handle with a bare hand. We'll see how that's scored. That's going to be a bunt hit. And that's the first bunt hit for Billy Hamilton this year, and his first since last September.
Yeah, Alberto looked like he was going to glove it and then changed his mind, knowing that he's got to hurry. But I think he had time to glove it because he was already playing in, and he got a good jump on the crack of the bat. He was already moving in.
So now a real test for Foltynewicz. You recall he had trouble holding base runners when the Braves play the Reds in Atlanta.
That's part of his keys tonight, his 4 keys. Those 94 pitches reflective of a lot of hard work.
Marlon Bird, the batter, hitting second and thriving in that spot. And he takes high.
Here are those 4 keys. 94 pitches, a lot of hard work. Tonight, less work, fewer pitches, more efficient innings, and quicker to the plate. He's got a nice turn, shoulder turn, when he works out of the windup. He was doing that in Atlanta out of the stretch, and they stole 5 bases, 3 in the first inning. And his first pitch to the plate here tonight, with Hamilton at first, was a slide step to try to quicken that up.
And the stolen base is a huge part of the Reds' attack. They're 39 for 42 as a team. Billy Hamilton has 17, and he almost got picked off.
Thought he got him.
One ball, no strikes. Hamilton, big lead. Not going. And downstairs to Marlon Bird. Marlon did not have a good time last night facing Shelby Miller. He struck out his first 2 times up and then popped out twice the rest of the night. Two and 0. And not close. Ball 3. Joey Votto waits on deck. Hamilton with a bunt hit stands at first. And that went belt high for a strike.
So the slide step, 3 times he missed. 3-0, assuming he's not going to run on a 3-0 count. He went into his regular leg kick, shoulder turn, fired a strike. Hopefully that slide step is something that's natural for him and easy to do, but doesn't mess up his mechanics on his delivery.
Bird took another belt high and faces a full count.
Pretty high strike call, but he'll take it.
Let's see if Hamilton's running. He is. Swing and a miss. Brzezinski's throws on the money, and they got him. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. Christian Bethancourt threw out Billy Hamilton in Atlanta. Now Brzezinski guns him down, and 2 are out quickly.
Those are the 2 caught stealing on his register. Good throw, quick tag by Peterson.
So that's a big pick-me-up for Fultonevich. Joey Votto's the hitter with the bases empty and 2 out.
Nice comeback to get Bird, too.
From 3-0 to strike him out. Joey Votto was 0 for 4 last night. He too struck out twice.
Bird, Votto, Frazier, 2, 3, and 4 in their order were 0 for 12 combined. Boy. Good curveball backed up by a nice changeup.
And a 98-mile-an-hour fastball was taken low. A ball and 2 strikes. No swing. He tried to throw that at Votto's back foot, and he got it there. But the perennial Reds all-star was able to hold up. Now it's 2-2. Mike was a little frustrated with that pitch. This is what has been frustrating at times to watch him work.
Yeah, the lack of efficiency, getting ahead, and then taking 3, 4 more pitches to get an out.
And he lost Votto, flips the bat, makes his way to first base. So a good comeback to get Bird from a 3-0 count, but then he lost Joey Votto after getting ahead 0-2.
These are some of the growing pains, though, that the Braves are going to have to live with and try to help Mike improve on as he goes along. And this is his 3rd big league start.
Todd Frazier hitting .233 with 10 homers. And he takes inside, and now AJ out to calm the young righty down.
Here are the 2 starts for Mike so far on the year. One against the Reds, one against the Phillies. There they are. Has not gotten through the 6th inning on either one of them, and a lot of pitches on both, which is why we were talking about trying to be more efficient tonight.
94 and 101 were the pitch counts for his first 2 big league starts. Two balls, no strikes. And a high fly ball hammered deep left, and that one's going to go a long way. Todd Frazier has hit a 2-out, 2-run homer. .11 home runs, ties him for the league lead.
He's a good fastball hitter. He got a 2-0 count, and he got the barrel out front. Mike Fultonevich made him look so bad in Atlanta. He was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and hit into a double play. Looked awful against Fultonevich, and got some payback right there. Not so much the home run that bothers you, it's the walk that preceded it when he was ahead 0-2.
So Brandon Phillips bats. The Reds have jumped in front. There's a strike. Kelly Johnson in left field just turned and watched that baby sail right over his head. There's a sweeping breaking ball. It's 0-2.
A rare game last night in which no home runs were hit in this ballpark. Didn't take long to get one today.
Well, as you were always quick to say last year, there was just too much nitrogen in the air last night.
Yes. Right after the rain.
379 feet for Frazier's homer. In a major league ballpark, that would have been an out on the warning track. Swing and a miss, and Phillips is strikeout victim number 2. So the learning curve a little steep for Fulte in the first inning. A 2-run homer for Todd Frazier gets the game going for the Reds. Feet puts the Reds in front after an inning. Time for our AT&T Universe trivia question this evening. And tonight's question, in the shadows of the smokestacks at the Great American Ballpark, is who won the home run derby in the 1988 All-Star Game in Cincinnati?
Terry Steinbach.
That'd be a good guess for yesterday's trivia question.
Oh, okay.
How about Ken Griffey Jr.?
I like it.
A strike to A.J. Pierzynski, and the second inning is underway. 3 homers, 14 knocked in for A.J. 2 more hits last night. Off the knuckles, and a ground ball to Phillips at second. Easy play, takes care of Pierzynski. 1 man down.
If that early 2-run lead helps DeSclafani throw a few more strikes, maybe be a little more aggressive.
This place, though, like Fenway Park, like Wrigley Field, like Coors Field, you can't sit on 2 runs ordinarily here in Cincy.
Nope.
A gentle breeze blowing out toward right center. Left-hander hitters might have a field day tonight. Strike for the Braves second baseman. Jace is playing great, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Average all the way up to 281 now. All the plays at second base. Even when he's making outs, he's hitting the ball right on the button.
First week of the season wasn't kind to him. First 7 to 10 games, but once he got jitters out, he started playing like he did in spring training. Which is why Freddie Gonzalez and the staff decided about halfway through spring training, hey, this guy's going to be the second baseman.
And a base hit to right.
Where it was thought at the beginning at camp perhaps Callaspo would be the second baseman, so they started making some moves when that happened. Once Jay started playing so well. Good turn on that ball.
So 2 hits for the Braves tonight. That'll bring Eric Young Jr. to the dish. Cameron Maybin earned 9 consecutive starts for the Braves in center field because he was swinging a great bat. 367 in that stretch. As we mentioned earlier, Freddie Gonzalez will mix and match his lineups all summer long. Wanted to get another left-handed bat, in the case of Young a switch hitter, but will primarily bat left-handed against DeSclafani.
Yeah, lefties are hitting .267 against him and have hit, of the 3 homers he's given up, they've all been to left-handed hitters. As I said, right-handers really scuffling against him. And a chance to get Eric Young in there and get him some at-bats, just like he's done with Gosselin and some other guys to keep him fresh. There are his career numbers. So not much working for right-handers at the beginning here of his career.
0-2 pitch. And taken high. Tonight's game, Markakis and Peterson, 2 left-handed bats, have the hits. Freddie Freeman, a left-handed bat, drew a walk. Young didn't get it, and he's down swinging. That's the first strikeout for DeSclafani. 2 down for Mike Fultonevich, who's helped himself mightily at the plate. He's knocked in 3 runs this year.
Well, I know he was pretty pumped up about getting that RBI double off DeSclafani, but nobody was more jacked up about it than his family and friends in the stands. They went crazy.
Now, when a guy picks up his first big league RBIs like Mike did, does somebody do calligraphy on the baseball? Do they just put it with a plaque? How does that work? Because Mike might need a beach ball replica just to fit all the letters.
Yeah. No, just put double, first big league hit, first ML hit, double RBI, and the date. He'll remember who it was off of.
Yeah.
He made a out. He got jammed the first time up. He said, so I just decided to start swinging when he let go of the ball. On that one, didn't work. Big hit.
And a swing and a miss at a slider. And that ends the Atlanta second. Reds 2, Braves nothing. Jay Bruce to lead off when we come back. Let's see how the Braves line up defensively tonight. That's brought to you by our friends at CPI Security. Eric Young Jr. gets a start in center. A.J. Przinsky back behind the plate. Kelly and Nick in the outfield corners. See if Mike Foltynewicz can settle back in for the Braves. He struck out a pair in the opening inning.
You know, Shelby Miller got off to a bit of a rough start last night too. He pitched around a leadoff walk and a stolen base in his own error, left a runner at third base in the first inning, gave up a run in the second, and left 2 men on base, and then settled in and retired 15 in a row. So let's see if Mike can get on a little run of his own here.
Jay Bruce is the Reds' right fielder. He leads off the second. And Christopher Negron and Brian Pena. In the air to center. This one's playable for EY. He'll drift back a couple of steps shy of the track. And Bruce flies out to start the inning. One down. You can give up fly balls, but you got to give them up to that part of the ballpark. It is 404 feet to straightaway center. How long is the home run derby going to take at the All-Star game this year?
Long enough that you'll have to text me and tell me who won.
Yeah. Chris Negron, the batter. Almost feel sorry for Chris Berman, the number of times he's going to have to say back, 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 back. And outside to Negron. Still no Zach Cozart. Talented shortstop who's off to a great start this season. He got hurt in Atlanta. Bouncing ball. Tore up a fingernail on his right hand. He's also got some wrist problems. He was hit by a pitch.
Right.
We have not seen him in this series. Low outside. It's now 2-2. Negron, a very versatile player. He started at first, second, short, third, and center. And he started his night with a one-out single here in the second inning. That's the third Reds hit. So Brian Pena comes up, the Reds catcher, with a 4-game hitting streak.
I don't mind Negron getting that base hit at all. I'm just glad it didn't happen in the 9th inning last night with a runner at third.
He bounced out to Andrelton Simmons to end the game. Jim Johnson picked up the save. And down low to Pena, who's been pressed into virtual full-time duty for the Reds, and most unexpectedly. They've got a real problem on their hands with Devin Mesoraco, their all-star catcher. Has a real bad hip. And there's a chance that Mesoraco is going to have surgery on that hip during this season. The problem with the hip surgery he's going to have, and it's the same procedure that they've done on Alex Rodriguez and Troy Tulowitzki. As Pena got jammed and skies one toward right, and Young takes over, makes the play for the second out. The Reds, I'm sure, feel confident that they can fix the hip problem. The problem is it has not been a surgery done on a catcher before, and right now Mesoraco cannot handle the up and down squatting. It doesn't hurt him to run, it doesn't hurt him to hit. So right now the Reds are ostensibly, Joe, playing with a 24-man roster, in that their all-star can do nothing but pinch hit, or when they have American League games, be the designated hitter.
Well, I'm sure they're doing everything they can outside of surgery to see if they can get that thing loosened up, give him a chance to sit down and catch. And if they can't, and he wants to keep catching, then they got to do what they got to do. And I'm sure it's a little scary for him since it's never been done on a catcher.
If he can't catch, maybe he can go play the outfield. Put him in left, get his bat in the lineup. might be a possibility as DeSclafani hits for the first time and didn't get a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 0-2. Braves will have the top of the order coming up in the third inning. It's 2-0 Cincy. And a shot to Freddie Freeman, who caught that on the fly. Nearly did the splits. Nice inning for Fultonevich. No runs and a hit. And the top of the order coming up. Nick Markakis, Anderson Simmons, and Freddie Freeman, who makes this fine catch to keep the game 2-0. The Braves have done over their last 10 games. The offense, which was supposed to be the question mark for this club, is answering those questions in a very positive way.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about right at the very beginning, Chip, was the fact that they're doing what they've got to do. They're averaging 4.5 runs per game over the last 10 and almost double digits in hits. And it's not just 27 extra base hits with 18 doubles. They got some home runs mixed in there too. So they're doing a lot of really good things offensively, and hopefully tonight they can figure out a way to score at least 3.
Got to get the pitching straightened out. Once you take out Shelby Miller, the next lowest ERA by a Brave starter is Alex Wood's 4.28. So that's good news. You know the pitching should be better.
We've seen them better, so we know that it's possible and really more likely.
Breaking strike to Nick Markakis. Single to start the game. Second time through the order now for the Braves. And a little low. Even count. Nick's looking for his first homer as a Brave. Won't come with this at bat. Phillips swipes at the second base bag. Low throw, and Votto dug it out. The ball found the glove of Brandon Phillips, and Votto, with a terrific scoop, steals a hit from Markakis. 1 out.
It's the only way Brandon was going to get him was to keep charging and hold his glove down low and hope the ball bounced into it, and it did. Right there. In between hop. Nice scoop by Votto.
Pretty play for the native Stone Mountain, Brandon Phillips. And a strike for Anderson Simmons.
Yeah, he hasn't won 4 Gold Gloves for nothing.
There's a shot to right. Love it when Anderson does that. His first hit of the game. And he's hit safely now in 10 of 11.
I think it's probably, I'm guessing, part of his approach, maybe that of other right-handed hitters tonight, is don't try to pull this guy. You got to think middle away. Now that target was inside. Ball was maybe inner third. Nice inside out swing by Anderson. Paid off.
So here's one of those left-handed bats that have given DeSclafani so much trouble. Freddie Freeman walked. And he cranks one deep toward right. And out of play, foul, a strike. I know hitters go through scouting reports. They look at video. They've seen DeSclafani before. But you've been in the dugout. I haven't. Do you get caught up in the game and sort of lose track of your game plan in the flow of the game? And if so, does someone try to get you back in your plan? Is that a Kevin Seitzer job?
I don't think so.
No.
No. If you've gone to the trouble. My generation never had the luxury of the videotape machine to sit in front of a monitor before the game and go over some at bats. But if you kept a little book on a guy, you remember what he threw you, and you especially remember what he threw you to get you out. So, no, it's not hard to recollect those things as the game goes along, especially in today's game.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Simmons at first. Just think in 10 years we're going to be seeing young players come up in the big leagues and they say, what's a book? Everything now it's all digital. It's amazing. Pitch. Nearly hit him inside. 2-2 the count.
He got away with one there. Off speed pitch.
Pull to the right side, and that's hooked past Votto and Phillips, and Simmons is on his way to third, and he'll stand there with 1 out. Freddie couldn't have walked to the infield dirt and rolled it through better than the way he hit it.
No, it's one of those patented swings too, where he has to reach out. Look at the target. He's got to reach out, and then he tried to pull it. Usually that's not a good recipe because there's somebody there to field it. But with Votto holding the runner on, he figured out a way to slip it through there.
It's funny, Freddie was in Toronto, you might remember, and said he had interest in playing for the Canadian national baseball team. Well, he might have to beat out that guy he's standing next to at first base. Fly ball to left, pretty well hit. Bird going back onto the warning track, leaps at the fence, can't get it. It's off his glove. A run is in. Freeman on his way to third. He'll stop there, and Kelly Johnson stands at second, and the Braves are on the board. It's a 2-1 game.
Kelly just got under the ball his first time up when he flied out to left field. He doesn't hit the ball that way very much. But he too stayed on this one a little longer. Kind of a sinker running away from him and almost hit it out of the park. Marlin had to go off his glove and then off the wall in his face.
Third double of the year for Kelly Johnson, his 18th run batted in, and now the Braves have a chance for a big inning. Second and third, 1 out. 1 ball, no strikes for Alberto Callaspo. The second time through the order, having better luck. 3 consecutive Braves hits.
Alberto he's on his own pace. He rarely gets in a hurry, very calm and relaxed at the plate, and he'll wait you out if he's looking for a certain pitch.
He took that one for a strike. All bets are off now. 3 balls and a strike. Fly ball center. Hamilton will drift back. Turned the wrong way. Now gathers it in. There's the catch. 2 runners tag. The Braves have tied it on a sacrifice fly to center by Alberto Callaspo.
Getting that guy in from third, less than 2 outs. This time it happens to be the tying run. And number 7 in the RBI column for Callaspo.
11th sacrifice fly for the Braves this year.
Only had 15. No, it was more than that. It was like 26 or 7 all last year. It was still like last in the league.
Well, let's see if AJ can come up with a 2-out hit. Good cut, foul away, strike 1. This Braves team will battle you. Down early 2-zip. Come back to tie it. Another good rip.
Yeah.
Told you the Braves 2-out runners in scoring position numbers this year. Przinski's had a hand in that. He's 2 for 6 in 2-out run scoring spots. Got some work to do here though, behind in the count. And he swings and misses. That'll retire the side. 2 runs on 3 hits. Kelly Johnson and Alberto Callaspo with RBI hits. They've tied it at 2. The Twitter and Facebook world being what it is, many of you I'm sure have followed the news that's come across in the last few minutes. Apparently there is word that Mike Minor may be scheduled for some left shoulder surgery. We at Fox have not yet been able to independently confirm those reports. We're working to do that, but certainly, Joe, that's not good news if it comes to pass. That Mike may have some issues that have to be attended to. Pop up Will bounce in front of the Reds dugout foul and out of play for a strike.
Yeah, in any capacity, any type of shoulder surgery, it would be a real blow.
So we have not confirmed that. We're working to do so. If we are able to confirm that before the end of the night, we'll certainly try our best to do so. And we hope that that report's incorrect, that Mike will be able to get back on the mound sooner rather than later. 2 strikes to Billy Hamilton, and that's through the wickets of Brzezinski. Fulte, by the way, back in the game now, Joe. It's a 2-2 score.
Got him back even. Start over. And can start with the top of the order again.
Hamilton bunted for a single his first time up, then was thrown out on the front end of a strike him out, throw him out double play. And Joey Votto stepped in, fell behind 0-2, and then walked. A little flare down the left field line. That'll chase Kelly Johnson back. He's got it. And Hamilton hits it in the air, which is what you want him to do. 1 out. Here's Bird.
Speaking of hitting the ball the other way, that's what got the Braves going last inning, with Simmons' opposite field single with 1 out. Kelly Johnson's double was to the opposite field. Good things. Good hitting.
One ball, no strikes for Marlon Bird. Marlins in the last year of his contract that he originally signed with Phillies. The Reds traded right-handed pitcher Ben Lively to Philadelphia on New Year's Eve to acquire Marlon Bird. There's also an option for 2016 that will vest at 550 plate appearances for pretty big money.
It's all big money these days.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. So that'll be an interesting situation to follow. Now the Reds decide whether to bring Bird back for another year, or if they have to put Mesoraco or someone else in the Cincinnati outfield. Another full count from Fultonevich. Here it comes, and he lost him.
That's hair pulling time.
Yep.
You got a guy that's swinging. He wants to swing. He's chasing and hasn't caught up to a fastball in the first game and at bat of this series, and went with his second or third best pitch on a 3-2 count.
So here's Votto. Bird a very short lead, and inside.
The Reds also have a kid in their minor league system that they're crazy about, Kyle Waldrop. I don't know how far along he is in his development, how close he is, but last year at Bakersfield in Double-A and the Arizona Fall, he was an all-star there. He hit a combined .338, 14 homers, 67 RBIs. They like him a lot.
That's Walt Jocketty, a terrific baseball man who was the architect of so many of those terrific teams in St. Louis with Tony La Russa. He's the Reds general manager. And now 2-0 count to Votto is popped up a mile high. Brzezinski can't find it. Callaspo is under it. He says he's got it, and Votto pops out. That thing might have been as high as the top of the stadium.
You won't be able to find another one hit as high as that. Look at AJ. He's just thankful that Aspo stayed with it because he was having trouble. I think he was having trouble picking it up first.
So here's Todd Frazier, the man that touched off the 2-run homer, his 11th. And now 21 RBIs. The pitch just outside. Frazier's really feasted hitting behind Joey Votto. What a luxury it is for a number 4 hitter to have a hitter who can hit for an average but is willing to walk as much as Joey Votto walks. Votto with 6 2-out walks this year. He scored 3 times after that 2-out walk. Twice on Frazier homers this year. And that's exactly what happened in the first inning.
He's doing a lot of breaking balls, but he hasn't used that changeup much. He used it early in the first inning, and it was a beauty.
And he's just walked Frazier. Foltynewicz with 4 3-ball counts, now 3 walks. He's not missing by much, but he is missing apparently.
PNC Bank box track shows that was at the bottom of the zone. The way AJ caught it, I'm not so sure about that graph. That looked low.
Brandon Phillips struck out to end the Cincinnati first. 2 on, 2 out. Strike 1. Phillips has a hit in 12 of the last 14 Reds games. Started the year in a 2 for 17 mini slide at the plate. And taken high. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think about what Vin Scully said about Yasiel Puig. Who's going to tame the wild horse? I think you can apply that same phrase to Mike Foltynewicz. You can see the building blocks. It's tough to teach 95, 6, and 7.
He's not the first one to come along like this that has a great arm, throws hard, has good pitches, and has a little trouble with location. He won't be the last, and it's just a matter of learning as he goes along that you don't have to throw every pitch 95.
The 1-2. Phillips went around. You bet he did, and he struck out for a second time. Foltynewicz pitches around a couple of 3rd inning walks. He's due 3rd and the 4th in a tie game. time for our great clips of the game. It was the Atlanta attack an inning ago.
Good at bat by Freddie Freeman, rolling that one through the side after Andrelton had gone to the opposite field, and then Kelly Johnson almost going into the seats in the opposite field for an RBI double. Kai Espo on a 3-1 count delivers Freddie. You know what's great about the way the Braves do it this year is that they it takes a lot of guys in the lineup to contribute. You know, you're going 5, 6, 7 guys through the lineup in an inning to deliver those 1 or 2 runs. That's fun.
Fly ball hit hard to right. Bruce on the run's not going to get it. That's going to bounce off the fence. Jace Peterson's on his way to second, and he's going to slide in safely. Jace Peterson's 2 for 2 tonight. That is his first double.
Look at the guys in the dugout. I think that's Andrelton down there was jumping up and down almost like he had pom-poms. Maybe they all knew it was his first extra base hit too. That's why they were excited. And he knows he's got to go with Jay Bruce because Bruce has a good arm. But a good start to the 4th.
Eric Young struck out his first time up. And a strike.
Chase did have a triple, so it wasn't his first extra base hit, just his first double.
That's into the seats and out of play. Way high. No chance for Young to offer at that. Fought it off, too close to take. And the count, a ball and 2 strikes. EY got the season off to a great start in Miami on opening day. Remember the run he stole in the 6th inning? Sprinted in from third base to give the Braves a 2-1 lead behind Julio Teheran, a lead that they didn't relinquish. That was the final. Love to get on and give Fultonevich a chance to hit down a bunt or drive in Peterson himself. 2-2 pitch. Little looper toward short, and Negron has an easy play, and there's the first out of the inning.
With a runner at second, nobody out, and the pitcher batting behind you, you get a little leeway there. You get a little allowance of, hey, driving the run, because even if you get him to third, chances are the pitcher won't. And shouldn't say that about Mike since he's already got three RBIs. But still, advancing him would have been nice in some capacity.
Yeah, wild pitch, balk, something could bring him in. Ground ball out could maybe bring him in. But a soft line drive is the first out. Fultonevich hits with Peterson still at second, and he takes a little low. 1 ball, no strikes. That's right there for a strike. One ball, two strikes. And another breaking ball gets Fultonevich. That's how DeSclafani struck him out in the second. Now we go back to the top of the order and Nick Markakis. Nick has singled and grounded out. That caught a corner. Good pitch. Strike one. Now it's an even count. Swinging a drive down the right field line that'll get down for a 2-out hit. Peterson's going to come home and score. Markakis on his way to second. He'll slide in with a 2-out double, and the Braves have taken a 3-2 lead.
Another guy who goes to the plate, patient, waiting, gets a hanger. No, I beg your pardon. That was a fastball that just came back to the middle of the plate, and he nailed it. Well, the Braves just continue to tear it up with runners at second, don't they?
Killing it. Over 400 batting average as a team. And the lefties in the lineup tonight are 5 for 8 against DeSclafani. Take that back. They're 5 for 10. Got Eric Young's work. Still 500 against a man that's dealing for Cincinnati tonight. Braves by a run. Chance for more. Here's Simmons. He singled and scored last time up. And that's swept outside. The man who's the subject of our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
2 homers, a triple, 4 doubles, some damage mixed in there. It's up to 16 RBIs.
Markakis' double quiets the crowd in Cincy as Anderson awaits a pitch. Missed outside. 2-1. DeSclafani does not have a 1-2-3 inning tonight. Ground ball to Negron. He'll play it to the backhand. And a high throw is corralled by Votto, who applies the tag in front of the bag. The Braves, though, get a pair of doubles and take the lead. 3-2 as we head to the home fourth in Game 2 in Cincy. 20th against the Rays. The first 20,000 fans through the gates. You'll get a bobblehead featuring Braves legend Javi Lopez, the first of the 2015 Braves bobblehead series. Get your tickets today by visiting Braves.com/tickets. No truth to the rumor that our fine graphics assistant and director Gretchen Caney created the sculpture that is the Javi Lopez bobblehead.
Yeah, there's what do you call it, a cast, you know, they're pretty impressive. Didn't know she could do that.
Driven down the right field line and well out of play off the bat of Jay Bruce.
Mole, that's what I was trying to
mole,
say.
Right. So shutdown inning paramount for Foltynewicz here. Let's see if he can get one. Fly ball center field again. And right at EY, who's got it for out number one. He's doing some math in between innings, and that's always a terrifying prospect. But I thought it was interesting to see a man that I think is somewhat comparable to Mike Foltynewicz in the early days of his major league career, and that's John Smoltz. Folty doesn't have his slider, but he has the fastball and all the hype, quite obviously. And like Mike Foltynewicz in the early days of his major league career, John was very much an unpolished pitcher. We talk all the time about the whip statistic, walks and hits per innings pitched. 88, 89, and 1990. John Smoltz had 635 walks and hits in 443 big league innings. That's a whip of 1.43 base runners per inning. Foltynewicz is a little higher. But once John started to command all of his pitches, that whip went down and the wins went up. And Foltynewicz has another flyout, this one off the bat of Chris Negron. 2 outs.
I think that's fair. Those comparisons are fair. Talking about a guy who's going in the Hall of Fame this year, who didn't exactly set the world on fire early on. Neither did Tom Glavine. Different type of pitcher, but Tom had his learning curve too. So he threw almost 600 minor league innings. That's a lot, but he's still learning on the job how to harness what he has.
Pena, the batter, and he too jumps on a pitch and drives it to right. Look, 97 miles an hour is fine and good, but the selectivity of a big league hitter is far greater than that of a guy in AA or AAA.
Certainly.
So a pitch that might be swung at in Gwinnett is looked at like that one to Brian Pena. It was close, but not close enough to swing at. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
See, he didn't like that pitch, and that's a good thing. That was a strike. He got a foul ball on it, but it was 95 right down the middle, and he kind of got away with it and wasn't happy about it.
Poked inside the bag by Pena down the right field line. So the Cincinnati catcher doubles with 2 out in the very least to clear the pitcher, DeSclafani. That's Pena's 4th double, and it gives him a 5-game hitting streak.
This is pure D.O. luck. I love Brian Pena. I love the way he plays. I love his joy of the game. This is pure D.O. luck. He was fooled and just dropped the bat down, hoping that somehow he'd get a piece of it and put it in play. And look what happened.
What do pitchers tell you? Every out's not made on a good pitch, and not every hit's on a bad one.
Yeah.
So Pena represents the tying run potentially, but the Reds pitcher would have to come through. And Brzezinski held it there, didn't get the call.
Coming into this inning, he was 6 for 14 on first pitch strikes. That could improve too.
He's approaching 70 pitches, and we're in the 4th inning. So from an economy standpoint, he has been improved tonight.
Yeah, it's been better. Even in the first inning when he gave up the 2 runs. He got the strike him out, throw him out, double play. That helped cut into his pitch count a little bit.
It was almost an AJ's glove, and it's fouled away. 1-2. So what's the wipeout pitch here with the pitcher in the batter's box?
1-2 count. Probably a slider. Need to speed the pitcher's bat up. Slider away, see if he'll wave at it. And he didn't. Now go after him.
Two pitch. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strikeout at the plate called by Sam Holbrook. Foltynewicz has his 4th punch out, and the Reds continue to trail by a run with Freddie Freeman due up next. As you see the Mazda game summary.
Yeah, Foltynewicz has walked 3, but only one of those have scored. That scored ahead of the home run by Todd Frazier. So far so good for him in that area since he has walked 3. DeSclafani has only walked 1, so he's cut down on those, but he trails 3-2 because Kelly Johnson and Nick Markakis have come through with big doubles.
So let's get some insurance here in the 5th. Freeman, Kelly, and Cayaspo are coming up. Sinker for a strike. It's 0-1. High fly toward Bird and left. And Marlins going to have room to haul this one in. There's out number 1.
Good pitch there from DeSclafani. Started him with a changeup for a strike, called strike, and then backed it up with another good one.
RBI double for Kelly Johnson. Played at the first Braves run back in the 3rd inning. Braves begin play tonight, 3rd in the division. 5 games out. Washington's 2.5 behind the Mets. The Mets are in Chicago playing the Cubs. Big debut for New York. Noah Syndergaard is on the mound for the Mets tonight.
Big debut for the Cubs yesterday, letting people sit in the left field stands in the bleachers.
And Chris Bryant homered into the bleachers. First Cub to do that since they've been redone. Three-one count to Kelly. And he'll take a one-out walk. He's aboard for a second time tonight. DeSclafani's passed 2 Braves in the game. Walks, walks, and more walks for DeSclafani. That is not a good recipe for success in his home ballpark. And historically, he has had trouble winning here in Cincinnati. Weather gets hot, you walk people. You are asking for big, crooked numbers to get put up.
Good hit and run spot here. Kelly's no spring chicken anymore. He doesn't run as well as he probably used to. Last time he was in double figures in stolen bases was 2012. He had 14. Does not have an attempt this year.
That's found off Pena's equipment. And the count is 0-1.
Some of the helmet. Pena's had trouble throwing at base stealers too. He's only 2 for 12.
Inside. And even count. Hey, why not wait this guy out? He might walk himself into a big mess. Line to second, and Phillips staggered a bit but made the catch. And that's the second out of the Braves' 5th inning. Time for our T-Mobile game changer. The Braves have their KJ-AJ lineup working tonight.
You know, we were bragging on the guys on the bench and some of the key hits they've had lately. And we didn't mention these 2 guys primarily because they've been playing so much. But when they signed with the team, they were expected to be backup role type players. But look what they've already done this year, getting more playing time because they've been producing in a big way. Brzezinski and Johnson.
Two hits last night for AJ. 0 for 2 tonight. But his main assignment is guide Fultonevich through tonight's ball game. Get him as deep as he possibly can, and he's done a good job of that. Action begins in the Reds bullpen. DeSclafani at 90 pitches. Ground ball again to second. Phillips will flip to second in time, and that retires the side. Top of the order coming up for Cincinnati. Braves still lead at 3-2.
In the bottom of the 5th inning and make that a 9-game hit streak for Freddie Freeman, bringing his average to .339. I talked to Kelly Johnson about what kind of influence Freddie Freeman has on this lineup. He says, you know what, he's a great anchor, a guy we could count on every single day when he's out there, but at the same time, as a team, we try to do as much as we can to help him out, and we don't want to solely lean on him. I think it's safe to say all of the Braves have been contributing in their own way and taking that pressure maybe off of Freddie Freeman, and like you said earlier, Joe, it's really fun to watch.
Christina, I think it inspires Freddie. You know, when they do the things that the rest of the team does and takes some of that weight off him, I think it frees him up to enjoy himself, not feel the pressure of having to do it all himself, and he's having a good time.
Lee Hamilton leads off for the Reds and slaps one toward left. Kelly's coming on. He's going to make the grab. A sinking line drive retires Hamilton. And that's out number 1. If you recall, at the start of the season, that was one of the nagging questions that many had about this Braves offense. Who is going to protect Freddie Freeman in the lineup? It turns out Kelly Johnson and A.J. Przinsky have done most of the great offensive work hitting behind the Braves first baseman.
Yeah, moving him to third, moving Markakis to first, I thought was a bold move at first, but since Nick had done that a lot in Baltimore last year, it came easy for him, and Andrelton has settled in the number 2 spot. So it's all fitting together nicely right now for the offense, because anytime you've got 3 or 4 guys that are swinging the bat pretty well, you can score runs.
Yep, Markakis moved to the leadoff spot April 25th. A game started by Shelby Miller in Philadelphia. And Bird quickly behind, 0-2. And this one's popped up. AJ back toward the screen, might have a play. He does have a play. Bird pops out. He's going to have nightmares. Miller and Fultonevich the last 2 nights have made it tough for him at the plate.
Yeah, but remember last at bat, we were talking about that 3-2 pitch was a slider, his second or third best pitch, and this time he stayed with the fastballs, threw the ball by him.
That brings up Joey Votto, and he's batting the way you want him to, with nobody aboard. Votto walked ahead of a Frazier first inning homer that gave the Reds a 2-0 lead. The Braves tied it with 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth to take a 3-2 lead. That's where we stand. The pitch to Votto with his feet, 1 ball, no strikes.
And he hit the highest pop-up of the year.
Yes,
his last time up in foul territory. He's tardy. Got a 2-0 count, sitting on fastball, and was late.
Our radar gun showed 94. And there's an awkward swing by Votto, a check swing that's foul. It's 2-2. I'll bet Joey Votto's had more awkward swings against Shelby Miller and Mike Fultonevich in the 2 series than he's had in a year. Tried to throw that one right through A.J. Przinsky and missed badly.
I don't know how it missed everybody's legs. Votto danced out of the way, and then I thought Sam Holbrook was going to get nailed. Missed everybody.
So another 3-2 count. And Votto takes a walk.
Oh, mercy.
Votto's reputation and Fultonevich's reputation may have had a hand in this call.
I hope not. It started in, but it looked like it was coming back, and maybe the fact that AJ did such a good job of framing it made it look a little bit better even than it was. But boy, gotta have that one.
So repeat of the first inning with 2 outs. Votto walks, and that brings up Frazier. And he takes high. Ball one. Right off the end of the bat. That's fouled straight back, and now he's a strike away.
We talked about how on April 20th his start in Gwinnett is when he started utilizing that hard slider that he was being encouraged to throw more often. A good time for it right here.
It's a slow breaking ball, and Frazier almost corkscrewed himself into the ground. Great pitch. 5 strikeouts for Foltynewicz, who's through 5 with the lead. 3-2 Atlanta. Excellent spot to carve up Todd Frazier.
Yeah, this was a beauty. Didn't overthrow it. Great motion on it. Great result.
So let's get some insurance. We're in the 6th inning now. 2-for-2 game for Jace Peterson. In his last 6 games, Jace has 4 multi-hit games. And over the past 15 games, Braves rookie second baseman's hitting a cool 400. Now he should see a good pitch. 3 balls and a strike. More action in the Reds bullpen. The pitch is at the knees, a strike. J.J. Hoover. Peterson's good work. Here's our Yellowwood bringing the lumber feature.
Pulled one through the hole for a base hit in the second inning, and then in the fourth, led off with his first double of the year. Came around to score on the 2-out hit by Markakis.
He's aboard for a third time tonight. Leadoff walk. Third pass issued by DeSclafani.
You mentioned the good work over the last couple of weeks, Chip. Just checking to see where they put his on base percentage. It was a .347 coming in, and he's been on base 3 more times tonight. Outstanding.
Eric Young 0 for 2. We're starting a while for EY. Runner goes. Pitch high. Pena won't make a throw. Nobody covered the bag.
Nobody there.
Negron and Phillips were nowhere to be found, so Pena had to eat the baseball, and Peterson has his third steal.
Phillips was the first one over there. I don't know if that makes him guilty or not. So a similar situation for Eric Young that he had in the fourth inning.
This one, though, comes with nobody out. As did that one. He also had a man aboard with 1 out in the second inning. And a bunt. DeSclafani's going to have one play, and it's to first. Good at bat for Young. Peterson at third for the pitcher. A 1-3 sacrifice. That's the 15th sacrifice bunt for the Braves this year.
And with the lead getting him over, what it allows Freddie Gonzalez to do is, if he wants to squeeze, he can and get an insurance run. They didn't have the lead before. The infield will play in. I'd be very surprised they put it on the first pitch.
He showed bunt, but the pitch way outside for ball 1.
It's almost like a pitch out.
Sclafani out of the stretch. Swing and a ground ball right at Phillips. Tricky hop. He stayed with it. And the throw to first is in time.
That was a tough break. Good job by Fultonavich. They took it off, gave him a chance to swing away, and he made good contact and hit it right at someone. That's too bad. High fastball. And right at Phillips.
Well, the last time Nick Markakis came up, he had a man at second base with 2 outs. He doubled to give the Braves the lead. And this one a called strike. Tomahawk high and called a strike. It's 1-2.
Might have gotten caught looking for something else there.
Nice stop by Pena. Count now even. Brian Price is the Reds skipper, looking over his lineup card. Sclafani now 107 pitches. And number 108 ends the inning. Markakis strikes out. Braves can't cash in a leadoff walk. Phillips, Bruce, and Negron are coming up. Atlanta still leads by a run in Cincinnati. Avenue North will perform after the game Sunday, May 24th. It's a free concert for all who attend. Limited VIP field passes are available for just $20. Act fast. Go to Braves.com/concerts and reserve your seats today. Beginning for Foltynewicz. He'll try to pitch through 6 for the first time as an Atlanta starter. 84 pitches. And a big breaking ball has Phillips behind. Brandon has struck out swinging twice tonight. Foltynewicz has struck out 5. He's walked 4. 3 of those 4 walks have come with 2 outs. The ripple effect of those walks, quite obviously, is extra pitches.
When he collects himself with that shoulder turn, and takes his time, the ball really explodes out of his hand. When he gets in a hurry after that shoulder turn and tries to rush to the plate, he typically pulls it over the left-handed batter's box, and it doesn't have near as much heat on it. But it's almost like he's trying to muscle it in there harder, and he doesn't need to.
One ball, 2 strikes. And Phillips didn't get a breaking ball. He has struck out swinging 3 times tonight. Expecting the express, didn't get it.
Like he hurt himself on that swing on his heels.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Foltynewicz.
Braves' worst to first season, 91, right?
Yes. Line drive by Jay Bruce. His first hit of the game, and it comes with 1 out.
Well, he's been aggressive early in the count. Braves played the Pirates, I believe, that year in the division, or the NLCS only at that point.
Correct.
Mike Foltynewicz was born 2 days before that first game of the 91 NLCS. That makes you feel old.
It does. Thanks a lot. As Negron bats, he's 1 for 2. There's a call at the knees, a strike. You can see what the Braves love so much about this guy. He's got pitches. He's got pitchability. He's just not polished. And like we saw with Shelby Miller last night. There's the 0-1. Guys that can sustain 95 and 96, approaching 100 pitches in this era of Major League Baseball, are real treasures.
Strong guys.
He's got his choice of pitches on an 0-2 count with Christopher Negron in the box.
And the deal with the Astros didn't get done for a long time. I mean, they kept peppering John Hart wanting Evan Gattis, but they weren't willing to give this guy up, and finally they did.
He's trying to go 3-0. He leads tonight. Nothing in 2 and fouled away. 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was on a slide step too. It's like Tom Glavine told us the other day. Some pitchers battle with that because they think they're going to lose something by slide stepping, and it's not really the case.
Breaking ball was low. The throw to second is going to be in time. Jay Bruce is thrown out trying to steal second. First time he's been gunned out. And Przinski's nabbed 2 base stealers. Hamilton in the first inning. Bruce here in the 6th.
Yeah, on a breaking ball, that was a tough pitch to throw on. Down and in. Nice tag by Jace Peterson too.
Swing and a miss. Fultonevich is through 6. 7 strikeouts for the kid right-hander, and he's preserved a 1-run lead in a tough place to pitch tonight. Our Emmy Award-winning original series is back with Driven. Michael Waltrip Racing, Life in the Pits. Get to know the guys who risk it all to jump the wall and pit race cars for a living. It's Driven. Michael Waltrip Racing, Life in the Pits, Friday at 11 Eastern on Fox Sports South. It's presented by your local Toyota dealers.
I know a lot of people who live in the pits, and they don't want any TV show about it.
No. I've watched Michael Waltrip's Driven episode. Can't wait to see it.
He's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Very entertaining guy. Great race car driver. There's J.J. Hoover. Don't know if he's a good driver or not, but he's 2-0 on the year. Decent ERA. Again, a lot of walks.
The Reds bullpen has had problems. A 5.47 relief ERA for Cincinnati. Most of the good work has been done by Aroldis Chapman, but he's lost 2 games in a row for them. The finale of their road trip against the White Sox and game 1 last night. That was the first time that Chapman has had losses in back-to-back games for Cincinnati.
Low 90s fastball, curve, slider, change for Hoover. Hamilton's seen 2 curves.
And that's off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hamilton's got a single and a run scored. And well outside. Hoover was a Brave farmhand. I believe we traded him for Juan Francisco.
That's exactly right. 2012.
Right back to the screen from the Braves shortstop. It's still a 2-2 count. No score. Mets and Cubs at Wrigley. Later on, Miami's in Los Angeles to face the Dodgers. Washington faces the Diamondbacks. Hoover didn't get it. Full count.
Good fastball, 94. Oh.
And there's the lollipop breaking ball, and Simmons strikes out. 1 down.
Boy, he made 3 good pitches with it, and that 1 at bat.
Freddie Freeman extended his hitting streak to 9 games. He's 1 for 2 with a walk and a run. And Hoover missed away with ball 1.
Right now, in his 9-game hitting streak, Freddie Freeman is 17 for 34. It's pretty easy to decipher.
Not for me, it's not. .500 batting average. 3-0 count. Taking all the way. Right now, Freddie's up to 336. That ties him with Colton Wong of the Cardinals in the National League hit parade. D. Gordon of Miami leads the National League in hitting at .425. Gordon has 16 multi-hit games and already 54 hits this year.
He got a nice reception in LA last night too in his return to Dodger Stadium.
3-2 pitch, and Freeman takes a 1-out walk. Second time the Reds have passed Freddie. And he's aboard in front of Kelly Johnson, who also has a hit, a walk, and an RBI tonight.
Braves have left a man on base in every inning, 2 in the first for a total of 7. Need to try and capitalize on these base runners and give Freddie Gonzalez and his pitchers a little breathing room.
There's strike 1. Kelly Johnson's a lifetime .303 hitter in Cincinnati. He's hit 5 homers here in just 26 games.
It's a great ballpark for him with that short porch and right. And his double tonight was off the left field wall.
And this ball's hit to left too. It'll drop in front of Marlon Byrd. Freeman's going to slam on the brakes at second. And Kelly Johnson has a 2-hit game. And the Braves are in business in the 7th. 2 on with 1 out.
You know, that's just smart hitting. He got a call on the outside corner. Then he got a call at the bottom of the strike zone. He didn't like either one of the calls, but it was like Brian Pena said, all right, well, we're going to go out a little bit farther. Well, Kelly had a pretty good sense that they're working me away here and you get the calls, so he was ready for that pitch and took it the other way.
A strike to Callaspo, who has a sac fly tonight. That fly ball came in the third inning and tied the game to apiece. The Reds scored the game's first 2 runs on a 2-run homer in the opening inning. They've not been heard from since. Fly ball right field, pretty well hit. Bruce is back onto the warning track. He'll get there. Freeman late getting back to the second base bag. No chance for him to tag up. Two outs, and Przinsky will hit.
He put a charge in that, but I would say that Freddie should have tagged up. Once he wasn't even halfway. He was close enough to the bag that when he saw Jay Bruce kind of settle under it right there, Freddie had time to hustle back and go. They would have conceded third base to him.
AJ's 0 for 3. And foul back, out of play, strike 1. Hot shot, Phillips. Oh, what a pick. Brandon Phillips at the last instant speared that drive from A.J. Przinsky.
I thought the ball was by him.
It might have been, but the Gold Glove second baseman for the Reds stole a hit and maybe took away a run as well. We head to the 7th inning stretch. Braves still lead it 3-2. Our SunTrust saves of the game.
This is the very first inning. Nobody out. Hamilton tried to steal. He's thrown out for only the second time this year. Marlon Byrd struck out, so it was a strike him out, throw him out, double play, and then later on Jay Bruce tried to run. AJ nailed him too.
So with the lead late, Freddie Gonzalez will make a change in center field. Cameron Maben will check in. And Foltynewicz will try to get through 7 innings for Atlanta with the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up for Cincinnati.
That was funny. Did you see Pena? Pena thought he was late. You know, the clock. He went running up and got in the box, and he looked around. There wasn't even an umpire, so it was okay.
Bryant's doubled in the ball game and looks outside. Ball 1.
This is good. The Foltynewicz is out there cranking away in the 7th inning. Oh my. Sure not getting that pitch, is he?
Nope.
Avilan got the win last night in relief. Had a perfect 1-2-3 inning.
Lined and just past Peterson into right field. Brian Pena leads off with a single. That's the second leadoff man to reach for the Reds. And Brennan Bosch was in the on-deck circle. He'll be called back. Let's see how Brian Price plays it here.
Brian Pena is red hot. 2 for 3 tonight, 12 for 30 in his recent work.
It's going to be Zach Cozart. I'd like to find out how his hand feels. See if Fulte can buzz the tower here in the 7th.
Well, I don't think he's up there to hit. He's up there to bunt. That's probably about all he can do right now, or he'd be in the lineup.
But if the hands are tender, maybe you won't get the best effort with the bunt play. Let's see. He is bunting. And he got it down. Fulte's got to play at second. And he throws it to center field. All hands are safe for the Reds. 2 on, nobody out. Now another bunter can stand in for Cincinnati and Billy Hamilton.
Chip, I can't tell you how much the Braves and other teams, but they work, how much they work on this play, on fielding bunts, fielding the position, throwing the bases, throwing the pickoffs, doing rundowns. He didn't get turned. It looked like his shoulders were still almost facing the first baseline when he tried to kind of wheel, and he never was able to step to the bag. That's why he missed so badly.
So a sacrifice. He won. 2 on, nobody out. And Billy Hamilton, the batter. The pitch is bunted and fouled at the plate. Brzezinski came up ready to fire to third base, but Callaspo's pinched in at third, trying to cut off the Hamilton bunt.
Pena's a catcher, but he runs pretty well for a catcher. Even if you were thinking about putting on a wheel play.
There's the bunt. Fulte's got this one, and the throw to first is perfect. So Hamilton with a sacrifice. Second and third, 1 out, and Marlon Byrd the batter. He is struck out, walked, and popped out.
I would speculate that this might be Fultonevich's last hitter. Got Votto on deck, got Avilan ready.
If ever there was a time for a strikeout, this would be a great time for one. Fly ball down the right field line, slicing though, and out of play. Strike 1. Cody Martin has joined Luis Avilan. Marlon Byrd has 17 RBIs. He's knocked himself home 6 times with 6 homers. He's hitting 160 this year with runners in scoring position. Fly ball to right. That's going to be deep enough. Markakis with the catch. Pena tags. Here comes a throw toward the plate. It's going to be late. The Reds have tied it on a sac fly. And the pitcher's error really hurt. And that will be the last pitch of the game for Fultonevich.
Yeah, that's so bad. I mean, so sad because he pitched so well and into the 7th inning, but his own mistake really cost him this inning.
But 104 pitches over 6 2/3 worth of work. Atlanta's bullpen will try to preserve the tie. It's Avilan versus Votto when we come back. day at the ballpark. It's Military Appreciation Day, presented by Bank of America. Saturday, May 23rd, when the Braves take on the Brewers. You'll get a discounted ticket and a Braves camo t-shirt when you buy your tickets at braves.com/camo. 3-3 game. Foltynewicz will watch and see how Luis Avilan handles Joey Votto. Martin continues to throw in the Braves bullpen. If you fall behind Votto, no harm. He'd be at first base. You could then go to the pen for the righty.
Avilan worked a perfect inning last night, including getting Votto to ground out to Freddie Freeman at first.
Broken back out to short. Simmons has it, and that will take care of the Reds. Foltynewicz allows 3 runs total through his 6 2/3, and we're tied again going to the 8th.
Stuff, low price every day.
Fans follow the Braves all year long with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. New ball game as we head to the top of the 8th inning. An unearned run ties things up for the Reds. And now Jumbo Diaz goes to work.
He worked an inning last night as well. He went 1-2-3. Got a ground out from Kai Aspo. Struck out A.J. Brzezinski and got Jace Peterson to ground out as well. As we talked about, his problem has not been walks. You could see that. It's been that he's been getting hit hard. 11 hits, 10 runs in his 11 2/3 innings.
Perfect night for Jace Peterson at the plate. He singled, doubled, walked, and he scored. He's added a stolen base for good measure. The line for Foltynewicz, 6 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, and a homer. And 104 pitches over those 6 2/3. And Diaz misses low to Jace. 2 balls and a strike.
Did a lot of good things tonight. Unfortunately, he'll get a no decision And despite the 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, and pitched into the 7th inning.
High pop. Long run Bird. That ball curling toward the stands, and Marlin gets there in foul ground. 1 away in the 8th. And Cameron Maybin's the batter. First at bat of the night for Cameron. Cameron walked last night. He was 0 for 3 in his other appearances, having 229 for the campaign. And a sinker for a strike. Last night's hero, Phil Gosselin, is in the on-deck circle. No bat for Avalon. Oh, 2. Talked earlier tonight about the Braves bench and the remarkable work those men have done this year. Braves lead all of the National League in pinch hit batting average. .302 coming into tonight's game. And Maybin's going to try to improve on that, but no such luck. Bruce tracks it down. 2 outs. And here is Phil Gosselin, an eventful 9th inning.
Said he was looking for something down, and he got it. Drove it back through the middle, went to second on a single by Markakis, stole third, almost stumbled and fell, but made it, and then scored on the wild pitch. That was the difference maker. Great contribution from a guy off the bench who hadn't played all night.
Tried to bunt. It is down a strike. Jim Johnson is up and throwing now for the Braves in the pen. Good breaking ball. Oh, the entire Reds infield was headed to the dugout.
Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? It was like the field shifted and everybody started rolling toward first base. Ryan Pena cost him that strike the way he caught it.
Maybe a swing on the house for Phil Gosselin. 1-2 count. And a shot down the right field line. That ball's got a chance to get down fair. It will. It bounces high off the fence. Bruce will make the play. And Phil Gosselin comes off the bench with another big hit. And he's in scoring position with 2 outs and Nick Markakis.
You know, this is the kind of thing that usually plagues the Braves, where they've got a guy struck out and everybody knew it, and then he gets another swing and winds up getting a base hit. Not just a base hit, but an extra base hit. High fastball this time, and fought it off. And a good man up there who's already driven in a run with 2 outs tonight, Nick Markakis.
Looking in the stands, it looks like a starry night.
Yeah.
All the fans have their strobe features on their mobile phones.
Is that what it is?
So a late meeting with Markakis coming up. Nick 2 for 4 tonight. A 2-out double in the 4th inning gave the Braves a 3-2 lead. The Reds tied it up a moment ago. Neither DeSclafani nor Foltynewicz will figure in the decision.
Did not face Markakis last night. Nick's only faced him one time and drew a walk.
Well, a 2-run homer would be nice. Any kind of a hit would be nice with a tie game. Pitch. Just outside, ball 1.
That's how he worked Jace Peterson. Tried to work him middle away. Got a fast runner, guy at second base who can score, good base runner, and with 2 out will be off on the crack of the bat.
That's a dangerous way to pitch, Nick, though, isn't it?
I think so.
He can hit the ball right past Negron and into the left center field gap.
And now they're going to put him on and pitch the right-handed hitter.
So Markakis very patient. Braves will have 2 on and 2 out. And Andrelton Simmons coming up. And he's swinging the bat. It's pick your poison. Well, it is a righty-righty matchup.
Braves left the runner in scoring position in the 7th and the 6th and the 4th, the 3rd and the 1st, working backwards. So they're due to get a hit right here.
They left 11 on base last night. So far, the Braves have stranded 9 men total.
Simmons has never faced him.
Markakis at first, Gosselin at second with 2 outs. And inside, ball 1. Inside, ball 2. Nobody's up in the Reds bullpen. If they lose Simmons, Freeman would hit with the bases loaded at the very least.
Be patient. Make sure it's a pitch you like.
Braves dugout didn't like that call. 2 balls and a strike.
Like a high breaking ball. No, it wasn't. It's the opposite.
2-1. Ground ball toward Negron. He's got it. The flip to Phillips in time, and we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Braves threatened, failed to score. They've left 11 on base. It's still 3-3.
AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Another good ball game in Cincinnati. It was 2-1 Braves last night. It's now 3-3 heading to the home eighth in game 2. And Jim Johnson, who saved the day for the Braves in the bottom of the ninth inning, he's on to pitch against the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Reds.
It was his second save. He did give up a hit to Brandon Phillips, who also stole second, but he left him stranded at second base when he retired Negron on a ground ball. All these base runners the Braves have left on base makes you nervous.
Big swing and a miss by Frazier. He's homered, walked, and struck out. That sinker buzzing on the inner half, and Todd fought it off and fouled it away. Skip Schumacher's on deck. And that's off the plate. It's 1-2. Popped him up. Jace Peterson drifts out. Markakis called him off late and got there in time for the first out. And it will be Skip Schumacher. Joe, you made a good call. Brandon Phillips had an awkward swing in the 6th inning. Maybe he did hurt himself, because that's the man for whom Schumacher's hitting.
This didn't look like a typical Brandon Phillips swing, even though he was fooled on the pitch. He was back on his heels and he looked like he was trying to catch himself, almost like either his back or leg was hurting.
That's fouled off A.J. Przinsky for a strike to Skip Schumacher. Bouncing ball to Peterson's right. Jace has it. Perfect throw. 2 outs. And Jay Bruce.
He has been extremely aggressive on the first pitch. He's flied out deep to center. He is lined hard to center. One of those first pitches he pulled foul, home run depth, but pulled it foul off Fultonevich. So be careful on the first one here.
Too high to offer. Good idea. Ball 1. Right again off the end of the bat, cracked the bat. So Bruce behind, 1-2. Reds this year are 5-5 in 1-run games. Braves are 5-7. Strike 3 right down Broadway, and Jim Johnson works a perfect 8th inning. We go to the 9th inning. The Braves have their 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up in a tie game.
Mazda, and CPI Security.
Off we go to the 9th inning in Cincinnati. Chip and Joe with you. Game 2 of the series, tied up at 3 apiece. That last number on your screen is a big part of the reason why we're tied tonight. And now Atlanta has to stare down Aroldis Chapman, who has lost the last 2 games for the Reds.
2 in a row. First time in his career he's given up 3 hits in each of those 2 games. But again, 25 strikeouts in 14 1/3 innings. On top of giving up the run last night, he did strike out 2. He struck out Maben and Simmons.
It'll be Freddie Freeman, then Johnny Gomes has grabbed a bat, then Callaspo. Chapman gave up 3 hits in the 9th inning last night. Freeman had an infield safety. His 2nd career hit against the Reds reliever. Brings it in at 99 for a strike.
It seemed the prevailing thought was to try to get a fastball down. There's Schumacher, who stays in the game at 2nd. But look for a fastball down. As we repeat here quite often, easier to drop the barrel in something low than something belt high or above.
Called a strike. Freeman thought it was low.
That was a called strike, not a check swing.
Freddie got a piece and stays alive. Just missed. Chapman thought he had him struck out.
102 on this fastball. A little bit of a crossfire to that target outside.
Another 2-2 pitch. And that's just shy of the 2nd deck.
I'm not going to say it makes it any easier against a guy like this, but when you see this many pitches with a good hitter like Freddie Freeman, the timing factor becomes a little more recognizable on the fastball.
Popped up behind the plate. Pena didn't see it for a moment. Now back on the warning track. Got there. Chapman wins that battle. 1 away in the 9th, and it will be Johnny Gomes.
And that was a breaking ball. And a very good one. That may be why Freddie was upset that that one stayed in play.
Johnny Gomes did some great work as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. He'd love to bite the hand that once fed him in the 9th against Chapman. And it went inside, ball 1.
Blazer is the umpire at first base. He and Chapman have something in common.
Johnny 3 for 8 in a pinch for the Braves. This one headed back our way. And now 2 balls and a strike. They're not yet ready to declare a Cuban Missile Crisis with regards to Aroldis Chapman, but if he continues to stumble, this Reds bullpen, which has had its share of problems, is going to be an even bigger one in Cincinnati. He's been their anchor, their rock. 2 games that they thought they were going to win went the other way for Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's the guy that's automatic. They can worry themselves sick about everybody else, but they didn't have to worry about him.
Just ahead in the count, 3 balls and a strike. And he was all over the fastball and fouled it away. But that's the nature of a closer, isn't it?
Sure. Sure, there are stretches where things just don't go your way, and with the magnifying glass on you in the 9th inning, any mistakes you make certainly are glaring.
Count, and Gomes takes a walk with 1 down. And Joe, you're right about Brandon Phillips. He did leave with an injury. He's got a big toe problem. His left big toe. He's being evaluated as we speak. So the go-ahead run aboard for the Braves in the form of Johnny Gomes. And here's Callaspo. He'll bat right-handed.
0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in his career against Aroldis Chapman.
There was a time when the Reds were wondering what to make of Aroldis Chapman. Should he be their closer or should he be a starting pitcher? He's been an elite closer with the Reds. The pitch missed low, ball 1. "38 saves twice, 36 saves last year." Chapman defected from Cuba in 2009. Established residency in the Principality of Andorra. Became a free agent.
Good hit and run man at the plate, but there's so many swings and misses at this guy, it's kind of hard to put a play on.
Popped up behind first. Votto in foul ground on the warning track. Overran it, but recovered for the 2nd out. A.J. Pierzynski will try to keep the 9th alive for the Braves. Man aboard, 2 out.
A.J. a good low ball hitter. See if he gets a low fastball he can handle.
Little pop toward left. And Marlon Byrd is going to catch up to it. No runs, a hit, a man left. Reds come up in the bottom of the 9th, still tied. Sunday, May 24th. Hope you'll join us at Turner Field. Great family activities are on tap all weekend long. For more information, go to Braves.com/tickets today. Bottom of the ninth inning, and it's been a while for the man that's on the mound for the Braves. Jason Grilli is back from a bad back.
Yeah, some back spasms that had waylaid him. He last pitched on the 6th of May at home against the Phillies. And this is not a safe situation, so he's out somewhat early.
Wonder if he'll be allowed to work multiple innings for the Braves tonight. He's got to get through the ninth without allowing a run for that to happen. Johnny Gomes has the sunflower seeds and the glove ready to go in left. Christopher Negron leads off against Jason Grilli. That's in for a strike. Good to see Jason back on the mound.
I know he's been anxious.
Strike two. Brian Pena next, then the pitcher's spot. That's tomahawked into the upper deck. You might see Mesoraco here in the ninth inning. Swing and a miss. Wicked slider gets Negron. One out.
Good sequence there for Jason. Looks sharp. A couple of good fastballs for strikes to the outside part of the plate. Finishes him with a good slider.
Brian Pena, another good night at the plate. He's doubled, singled, and scored.
Batting average up to 347.
Jason missed high, 1 ball, no strikes. There is Mesoraco. Miles an hour under the hands. Even count.
Brian's trying to end the game.
He hasn't hit a homer yet. And really a strike away from the second out of the inning. Really grunt. And he really turns one loose and off the plate.
I would stay with the hard stuff. It seems like everything you throw off speed to Brian, he one-hands it or finds a way to put it in play.
Like that. Markakis cuts it off. And Pena's got a 3-hit night, and that'll bring up Devin Mesoraco.
backdoor slider, not an awful pitch. Again, he just seems to enjoy the off-speed stuff a whole lot more than trying to catch up with that high heater that we saw earlier in the count.
Michael Lorenzen's going to come on and pinch run for Brian Pena. The Reds do have 3 catchers.
We got a pitcher. Excuse me, a pitcher.
Mesoraco, the second of their catchers. He's got home run power, hit 24 of them last year. That home run that he hit off Jason Grilli started a streak of homers in 5 straight games last June. And this ball's hammered into the left field corner. Lorenzen on his way to third. Gomes has to dig it out. They're going to wave the pitcher home. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's dropped. And the Reds walk off in the bottom of the 9th. Gomes got the relay throw to the man he wanted to have it. But Andrelton Simmons dropped it. And Devin Mesoraco, with a game-winning double, sinks the Braves 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th.
I have to think that if Andrelton catches this cleanly, and you see Johnny had to go in and take an extra step or two to get it, that he had a play. You can see Jace Peterson drop his head because they had a play at the plate. Not to be.
So another one-run thriller in Cincinnati. This time it goes Cincinnati's way. 4-3 is our final score. We'll have the rubber match of the series tomorrow and the wrap-up tonight after this break.